How hard can it be to find success as an immigrant woman in a male-dominant industry where speaking great English is a must? Well, it is hard, but it's not impossible. And today's guest, Lana Sova, is the living proof of it. When she moved to the US, she started working as a personal trainer at a gym. And when COVID hit in 2020, her income dropped 90% in a week, and she had to start all over again. Today, she's a successful marketer, coach, and AI enterprise owner. She helps 9-to-5 folks start and grow their AI enterprises so they can reach time and money freedom. Our time together, she reveals the most important factors behind their growth, the best way to build a personal brand in the era of AI, how Lana went from being anti-AI to AI enterprise owner, and so much more. Enjoy the show.
All right, Lana, good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Alberto? Happy to be here, and it is a good day.
Good day, afternoon. You're in Moscow, right in Moscow, or like somewhere in that time zone?
Yeah, somewhere in the time zone. It's like a Moscow time, but yeah, I'm in my homeland.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So first of all, thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time. It's a pleasure. Why don't you introduce a bit about yourself and your story for those who don't know you?
Yeah, so that's such an interesting question, and I always kind of get a bit trippy about telling myself because I don't really like telling about myself. But ultimately, the story that I like to tell is I am somebody who by accident fell into the marketing world back in 2020 when COVID stole my fitness business. I had to figure out a way how to make money. Copywriting was something that I've been kind of dabbling or like not trying to write itself, but more like I've heard about it. I was listening to the podcast by Joe Polish. Some of you guys who are listening probably know him. And, marketing was something that I needed to do as a fitness instructor, but I never actually did. And then I figured, you know what? I don't, have a lot of time. I don't like baking bread. Instead, I would love to actually figure out how to make some other type of dough. And so, marketing, copywriting, I kind of fell into that. And then I fell in love with the entrepreneurship, marketing, psychology. And the last 5 years have been probably the most intense in both good and not so great ways, but overall it's been a great experience. So yeah, you can say that I'm a girl that loves entrepreneurship, marketing, sales, psychology, and all of that.
Yeah, cool. And actually, so we know each other. We've met like I think 3-4 years ago, like, of course online, but I know something about you and your story. And I know that you just mentioned that you don't like talking about it that much, but your story is actually very powerful because you were an immigrant, you got into a male dominant industry, which is marketing and copywriting, and English was a must for that kind, if you need to write copy for clients and yourself, and so but you made it. You made it. And so first of all, congrats. And second of all, what would you say, looking back, what would you say were the most important factors that helped you grow your business and brand through the years?
That's such a great question. First of all, thank you so much. The thing is, when people say, male dominant industry or like this, there's some people who find excuses for why they cannot do. Like, I've tried my hardest to never let those things, like being a woman, right? Being, like an immigrant and somebody who, wasn't born with speaking English. Like, I try my hardest to not let those things, define me. And I think that's the first thing that sort of allowed me to persevere and persist because, your brain is both your biggest asset and also your worst enemy, right? It can either completely destroy you and it also could completely make you, right? It's up to you what you let it do, right? To you and your business and your career and stuff like that. But I also would say that the other part that helped me very well, despite being an introvert, self-proclaimed, despite being an immigrant, one of the things that I really love about our industry is the people. I am somebody who just in general loves people, right? I'm not some people that say, I hate people. I actually love people. I find people fascinating. We all have different stories, right? And so just this love to discovering curiosity about others and connecting and networking, although I don't really like that word, but just being curious about people and talking to people, I think that's what really helped me to build the business and kind of become somewhat known in the industry.
Yeah, cool. That is very interesting, and like that, there is so much to unpack here. But because a lot of the stuff that you said really resonated, like the networking part, like you said, there are a lot of bad people in the world, but when you get into any kind of industry, I would say you attract you can attract the right people and the good people, that not just in the terms of of like transactional relationships, good people that will bring you business, but also good people that it's fun to hang out with, and it's fun to work with. And so yeah, that is like a very big factor. And I totally agree. And I also love the thing about the mindset that you mentioned, right? That your mind can be your worst enemy or your best friend. And like I think that what I see with creators on YouTube, on social media, also, but also on personal brands in general, is that there is either the blue pill or the red pill, right? You're either, oh, don't worry, your mind, you don't like, you need to be good on yourself. You need to be, you don't have to take it so heavy. But at the same time, like you said, if you don't know how to use your mind to do things and to actually change your life, at the same time, you need to be a bit aggressive maybe with your with yourself, because otherwise you're not going to make any change, right? So I don't know, maybe do you think there is a red pill and a blue pill, or are there just shades in this sense?
I mean, I would say when it comes to, and this is what I'm learning, right? So I built, somewhat of a brand, right, on Facebook mostly, because that's where I was, like in 2020, like everybody was like online. Like I chose Facebook, right? They just kind of like, that's where all the marketers were hanging out. And so I built a brand there. And now I have switched onto YouTube, right, with sort of my brand. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for so long. But again, my brain would stop me, right? It's like, it's all of the things, I'm not good enough. I have an accent. Who's going to listen to me? What do I even know? Like, even though I have so many wins, behind my belt, right? Even though I work with, like 9-8 figure companies with like the biggest influencers in the world, yet still that little thing, just kind of like, yep. Like, what do you know? So, but the reason I'm kind of getting into that is because I would say that what I'm learning right now is there has to be somewhat of a polarity, right? So, what I'm seeing is, people that are kind of becoming big. They are not afraid to say things that they think, but others don't agree with, right? So for example, like my last 2 videos on YouTube are like popping up right now. The reason is because I expressed the thoughts about the state of the industry, or, like some other things that are different from what other people say. Did I get hate for that? Absolutely, right? But it was me finally willing to say, listen, this is my experience and this is what I believe. I could be wrong, but this is what I would, say and suggest to, let's say, Lana 5 years, back or whatever. And so I think that there is some of the polarity, and as a brand, you do have to be different in some ways. But I also think, for the lack of, like, I hate the word of, being authentic, but I think you have to be true to yourself. And so if, like in my case, I'm an Eastern European, and we are very hardcore people in the sense of, like, we don't sugarcoat. And so, like, to me, if you were my student and you were kind of like bullshitting yourself for the reasons why you cannot, land the client and this and that, I would be very straight up with you. And I think that I would do a very good thing to you, because that's being true and really honest. But then there are people who say, well, being I'm just being honest. So like being like this aggressive is a bad thing, right? You have to be very polite and you have to be very compassionate. And while this is true, I do think that if you're not true to yourself, you actually betraying yourself. So if that means that you have to be more aggressive or more polarizing or more, I don't know, like harsher or more aggressive, then yes, I do think that there is definitely, like a red pill, blue pill, black pill, all of the types of pills.
Yeah, makes sense. And I totally see what you see. I totally see what you say. And I do agree, especially when it comes to helping people and coaching. Sometimes you like in many cases you're doing a disservice to be too polite and not say the uncomfortable truth, right? And so that's something I totally agree with. Now, this is not going to be the usual podcast with just questions and answer. I like to frame this kind of interview into a little set of games. So, if you're okay with it, we can start with the first one. The first one is called Choose One. All right. Okay. So basically, I'm going to ask you simple questions where you have to answer A or B. Right. And I need you to answer quickly with the first answer that comes to your mind. Just don't overthink it. I want to get your most natural answer. Right. And I really like this kind of games because I think that we have only 30 minutes. And this I think this is going to allow people to get to know you better in a very short amount of time. Right. So if you're ready. All right.
So let's go.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Working out or Netflix and chill?
Oh, working out all day long.
ChatGPT or Claude?
Claude.
Gemini or Grok?
Never use Grok, so Gemini.
TikTok or YouTube?
YouTube all day long.
Being coached or DIY?
Being coached.
Well, I guess congrats. You passed the first game. How was it?
Yeah, fantastic. It was great, actually. I love it. I'm probably going to steal it.
Yeah. Well, the first time I did it, like people were not used to this kind of quick answer. And so you need sometimes like I could be more brutal and give you like more difficult questions, but the thing is that sometimes, like for dogs and cats, maybe you like them both, or you don't like animals at all, and you don't know what to answer. So that's
well,
like,
if you don't like animals at all, we cannot be friends because I love them. I love them both. Like my mom has a cat, so it's like in general, I don't think of myself as a cat person, but like my mom has a cat, and it's like she's the most beautiful and just the lovely and cuddly cat ever. So I'm like, I love cats, so that's why I was like, I don't know.
yeah. That's same for me. Like I love them both, and I had both, and so I wouldn't know. Probably I would say cats, but I'm not sure, to be honest. That I love them both. Now, now let's go a bit deeper into personal branding. This podcast is called Coffee with a Personal Brand. I have like this espresso right here. It's part of my branding because I'm Italian, of course. But
of course you have to.
yeah. So talking about personal branding, you also mentioned that especially during COVID and like 2021, 2022, all that period, you were a lot on Facebook, and now you're focusing on your YouTube channel. You have your community where you're coaching people about to reach free time and money freedom, and you've also written a book back in a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
I did that too. yeah, in 2022.
And so, in your opinion, what would you say is the best way or the best tool that you use to build a brand as a business owner? Like if you were talking to a business owner and they want to build a brand, I think that you have enough experience with a lot of kinds of tools. That what would you say, especially in the era of AI, right? Because it's different. It's very difficult to differentiate yourself when there is everything on ChatGPT and Gemini, etc.
Yeah. Well, I would say that that's such a loaded question because, like there's the AI part. And so I would say that from knowing and understanding, the psychology and whatnot. So there is this concept of, like the sort of consumption. Right. So, for example, like if you've ever noticed yourself, and this is, I usually look at sort of my behavior sometimes and I just kind of pay attention to that. But there are some YouTubers that I've been watching for at least 5 years, maybe 10 at this point. And whenever they're launching a merch or if they're launching a program that is of interest to me, those would be the people that I go to and I trust them, right? The reason is because I've been watching their videos for years now, right? So I have put my time and attention into their branding, right? Into their brand. As a matter of fact, one of them, travel related, I think I've been subscribed to their like newsletter, paid newsletter for the last 5 years at least, right? So every single month, $97, right? Like I'm not even thinking about it because I trust them. And so I do think that the more time your audience spends with you, either watching or listening or reading, the better, right? Now, knowing this, how can you achieve that? To me, the obvious answers are either podcast and or YouTube. Right now, the YouTube, and then people will say, "Oh, YouTube was really hard to stand out, and Instagram was hard." Like anything could be hard, and anything could be easy. It depends on how you look at it, right? So I would say that with the YouTube, right, the hard part about it is that you have to think about the ideas, you have to write the script, or maybe not. I don't write scripts actually. And, like there has to be the packaging, the thumbnails, the title and stuff like that. But as anything, right, anything with life, it takes time to learn, right? So for example, if you never knew how to skate and you and I went onto the ice, ring, like we both got on skates, we would probably fall off. Like we would fall on our bumps, right? And we've done that multiple times. But eventually you would learn how to ice skate, right? Very simple. It's the same with anything. So like I'll give you an example. For the last probably year, I've been posting on YouTube. Trial and error, like I love to yap, but like turn on the camera and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to say. It's been a process. And only now, like the last couple of videos started to kind of grow. Now, so, some people could say, oh, like it's, overtime success, but really it's like a year like posting inconsistently at that. Yet still, it's the same with the writing. So, some people focus on Instagram. Like I personally don't like Instagram and TikTok because I think the time span and like the people that I get probably wouldn't be the best. But I know for me, I want a student who spends time watching 15, 20, 30, 40-minute videos, right? That means that they have the attention span and most likely will, take action. So I do think that especially in the AI world where on Instagram, there are AI girls that, what don't exist and then they make money, whatever. I think that as we move forward with AI, as there's going to be way more content created by, people, with AI, whatever, the need for a human being that is, kind of there, like a real thing, is going to be huge. So I do think that the quality of what you say will also be important. Because, look, go to LinkedIn. Every single post fucking ChatGPT. Sorry, can I swear here?
You can, of course. Okay. Go ahead.
It's like, you can see it's ChatGPT. Like, everybody is using and doing exactly the same thing, which then, of course, is going to be hard to stand out because you're literally saying exactly the same thing and doing it in exactly the same way like everybody else, right? The second you stop doing that, then you actually use your brain like a very smart machine here. Now you have the ability to stand out. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I would say like YouTube and podcast probably would be the two for me.
I love it, and I totally agree, and especially the time element is super important because, like you said, the more time you spend with a brand, the more the relationship gets deeper. And I love what you mentioned at the beginning about that paid newsletter, which is, I think that the best thing about this kind of technique and building an authentic brand is that you reach that point where marketing is almost useless at a certain point, right? Because they don't have to sell you on anything. They don't have to convince you. Yeah, you spend so much time with their content, and maybe even talking about them with other people, because that's what happens sometimes. You go meet another trouble buddy, and you say, "Oh, don't you know that newsletter? I've been following them for like years, and
exactly.
and so it's." You like there's this ecosystem inside you where it's not just it's consuming the content, is thinking about the content after the content, is remembering the content and all the kind of stuff. And I love it. And so and I really like this kind of perspective. Now it's time for the second game. Are you up for it?
Let's go. I feel like I'm on a TV, like a now.
Now we have the structure is question game. So we're gonna make it more fun. It's not the usual podcast, like I said. And so this second game is called flash branding, and this is the same style of the first one, but it's going to be tweaked a bit. So basically, I'm going to give you some fill in the blank sentences, and you have to answer as fast as possible, like I said, with the first thing that comes to mind, the most natural answer that you have. And like I said, it will give us, for the first game, it will give us the chance to get to know you better, and for people to discover you more and more. All right?
All right, ready? Let's go.
All right.
All right.
My favorite content creator is?
Myself.
Okay, yeah, good enough. Love it. The best advice I ever received was?
The best advice, I think the best advice that I ever received actually came from Vadim Zalin from the Reality Transurfing, is actually being yourself and loving yourself and just leading with that in the world.
Love it. The most beautiful country I ever visited was?
Oh man, you're killing me, Smalls, because every country that I've been to, but I think to me is actually Costa Rica.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. When I'm struggling and I need help, I want to talk with?
My best friend. Hi, T.
Nice. The AI tool I use the most is?
Probably Claude. Between Claude and Chat. Yeah.
Okay. The biggest risk I ever took was?
I would say back in 2020, April 2020, me joining the mastermind of Mike Samuels when I had $1,000 in my saving account. I did not have any income, but still I gave myself 90 days to make this marketing thing work, and I just bet on myself.
Well, congrats. You passed the second game.
Thank you.
And I really like it. And because like I said, I've been following your content and you're reading your emails for a few years now. And I think that we just gave like the 1 minute rundown of all that kind of content, because I know your relationship with, about your relationship with your best friend and how much you travel, and the fact when you joined Mike Semmel's program and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really like it. And I'm satisfied for this.
Great.
And why Costa Rica? I'm curious, because I travel too. And so,
well, I would say, like, for me, it's really hard to choose countries, but Costa Rica has a special place for me because this was the country where I learned surfing for the first time, and surfing is like my drug of choice, so to speak. And so I love Costa Rica because, you kind of get everything. You have the mountains, you have the ocean, you have the great weather, you can surf there. There are no sharks, right? And it just like, you have the jungle, you have the tropics. It literally has everything. And the people are absolutely wonderful there as well.
Well, I love this answer. Like, I love it. Have you ever been on other podcasts before? Because you're very good at being, concise.
I have been on a few.
All right. Now, the last question before the last game. So when you mentioned your YouTube channel, and you also mentioned that you've been posting consistently for the last year or so, and when I look at it, I have the notifications with your channel, so I watch all your videos. Yeah,
one of those people.
I do. I'm one of those. Yeah, and when I look at your channel, I immediately noticed that AI has been your biggest focus in terms of content lately, and I don't know how many months. And what is one thing, in your opinion, that people are getting wrong about AI today when it comes to marketing, or maybe even in general, if you want?
Yeah. Again, loaded question. And this is where I should probably say that, Lana eats her words, because, for the longest time, I was like anti-AI person when I was like, well, AI is not going to take your job as a copywriter marketer. And I think partially the reason I would say that was because I didn't really understand AI, and I was very resistant to the change, which I think it's a very normal and human thing to do. But then at some point, I was just watching a lot of YouTube videos, and it kind of like the information like made me really think, it kind of reminds me of, like the .com, era and stuff like that, where this is something that is going to stay with us. So it's either we adapt or we die. And so then I started to learn more about it. And so for me, the reason I'm doing more AI stuff is because I moved away from, copywriting and just marketing copywriting, simply because, I kind of, although I love the freelancing and everything, but I always knew that I wanted to be somebody bigger than just a freelancer, right? Like I wanted to be a business owner, like, a CEO. And so I saw AI as an opportunity to just literally sell the solutions to business problems, which this is what I've learned, how to do in the last 5 years, and then hire somebody who knows, or partner. In my case, I partner up with a technician, right? A guy who knows AI, who understands, who can create any automation, any agent you can think of. All I have to tell him is like, hey, here's the problem, here's the solution that I'm thinking. Can you do that? And, a day and he done that, right? So I would say that AI is a big opportunity for people who, want to make money, right? If you're somebody who doesn't want to respond to deadlines and kind of answering questions and being the kind of like the technician, the person who gets told what to do, you write something, right? And stuff like that, then AI is a really good tool, because you don't really have to know AI. You can hire somebody out, right? But it gives you an opportunity to become the CEO. But I think ultimately when it comes to AI in general, I think that obviously, I don't really know AI like 100%, right? I'm just learning, like I'm assuming a lot of people are. I do think that it's going to stay with us for quite some time. I don't know how fast the people will be adapting, because, the whole idea about AI is like, if you think about it, the idea of Siri has existed way before it actually became a thing, right? It's just people were not ready to adapt. What is the adaptation process and how long is it going to take this time around? I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be slightly shorter than, 20 years, maybe 5 years. But ultimately, we all would have to adapt. But I still use AI as a tool to help me speed up my sort of output, right? So a lot of the times nowadays, I know what to tell it, so it gives me at least, like a 50% good enough work, and then I can edit it out, right? Sometimes, I'll ask questions, so it'll give me some ideas that I never really thought about. But most that I love about AI is that I have a creator's brain, which means that, I'm always, ideas and it's always a chaos inside of this, beautiful brain. So AI allows me to really just kind of compartmentalize the ideas and kind of break down the thoughts and just kind of make sense of myself, if that makes sense.
Makes total sense. Yeah, and I love it. Yeah, and I also love the fact that you mentioned that AI, helps you. Maybe for some people gives you a hand to create, but also the fact that you take it helps you. It gives you a 50% good enough. and then you put your skill in, right? And that's something that maybe a lot of people have not understood yet, that you need.
And hey, I was in the same boat too. Yeah. But now I'm like, oh, actually, now I can see,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it. Now, last game, we have like 5 minutes left. And this is going to be, it's not going to be as quick as the previous ones. This is going to be deeper. And it's our final question, final game. And then I'll let you go to the rest of your day. Now, this game is called Time Machine. You can take your time with this one. You don't have to be quick and fast. Let's say you get in a time machine and you meet your younger self in the exact moment you started your first business. You only have 30 seconds with her. So you have younger Lana in front of you, and you meet her. You have 30 seconds, and you need to decide how you spend those 30 seconds. What is one piece of advice you would give younger Lana?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think that, and to kind of give you a context, like my first official business was fitness business, right? And it kind of comes back to the earlier conversation we had about being, like the radical truth versus, like a fake compassion, so to speak, right? When I was a fitness instructor, I was very direct with my clients, right? And I remember a mentor, and I put it in quotes because that's a very loosely used term in that particular relationship. But a mentor told me, you cannot be this honest. You cannot be this direct with people. You need to be nice to them, right? You cannot tell them that they're fat and they need to lose weight, which if you came to me and you said, hey, listen, I don't like the way my body looks, my first answer would be like, well, you're in the gym, you're in the right place. Great. Like, are you ready to do the work? Right. And so I remember distinctly moving away from being who I am, which is, being honest with people when they came to me for the answers, and putting on a fake mask of like, oh, like being like, it's okay, like you can, if you failed once, that's not a big deal, right? Because ultimately I was doing a massive disservice to my clients, right? They were paying me to help them, to guide them, to teach them, right? And so for about like solely 2 years, I was misguiding people, and I own it 100%. And then the second I kind of came back to being myself and being honest with people and very real with them, they started seeing results and my business exploded. And so I think my advice to my younger self would be, like, be who you are, own it, and the right people will stick with you. You will attract them. And ultimately, this is how you will be able to help people the most.
Lana, thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and I love what you said and what you would say to your younger self. I always like to end with this question because it's a bit deeper and it unpacks a lot of your previous story. So thank you for answering honestly about that. Where can people find you or contact you in case they want to know more about what you do, or they want to maybe know about your AI service and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing would be YouTube, because that's where I'm at. You can try add me on Facebook, but I'm not all that much there anymore. Instagram, also not there yet. LinkedIn could be. We are trying to get LinkedIn up, right? Again, with the idea that, being different and not use AI to write stuff. So YouTube, at Lana Sova, Instagram, The Real Lana Sova, and LinkedIn, Lana Sova.
Awesome. So mostly everywhere. mostly
everywhere. Exactly.
All right. Thank you for your time. Thanks everyone for watching, and thank you, Lana, for answering honestly and also participating in the games.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alberta. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.